Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you've probably heard about Midjourney. Now, Midjourney can be used in several powerful ways to generate profit. And today, I'm going to be diving in to some of the advanced parameters inside Midjourney so you can use Midjourney to create images in your business that you can use all over the place. You can use them in content, in blog posts, in advertisements, even in videos, a bunch of different ways. And on our channel, we've been talking about this, and I've actually done a Midjourney basic training on the channel. I'll link to that down below in the description for those of you who are watching this video after the fact. And I'm here live with my audience as I record this, and we're going to be creating some images together, and I'll be showing you how Midjourney works and some of these advanced parameters. But if you're not familiar with Midjourney, make sure that you look down below, catch that video, and you can watch the basic training for how to use Midjourney. Today, we're going to dive into these advanced parameters. I'm going to show you how to use them to fine-tune and tweak and improve and polish your pictures to get the best results. Now, I've been using pictures from Midjourney in a lot of my advertising, and they've been working really, really well, especially for Facebook ads. One of the things that's really bothered me as we've been making all of these images is I felt like I didn't have full control. It felt kind of random, where like I'd have to make an image over and over again, and it was a little bit like a slot machine. Sometimes I'd get a fantastic, beautiful image. Sometimes it would just be weird. So how we fix that is with parameters. Parameters are modifiers, I guess you could say. It's added to the end of your prompt. And if you're familiar, Midjourney is a chatbot. So you chat with Midjourney and you enter what you want it to make, and that's called a prompt. When you want to use one of these advanced parameters, you just say dash dash, just right on the keyboard, dash dash. And when you do that, that tells Midjourney you're trying to use a parameter. I'm going to show you what these parameters are, how they work, when you use them. And I'll show you on screen how this works. Now, the first parameter I want to introduce is what's called the tile parameter. Here's what Midjourney talks about with the tile parameter. And you can see when you put it into Midjourney, you just do dash dash tile. And so for those of you that may not be familiar with Midjourney, let me just show it to you really quickly. And it's literally a bot that you chat with right here. And when you start to talk to Midjourney, you go /imagine, and then you get to put in what's called your prompt. And this is where you'll say something like a monkey dancing on the beach. So with these advanced parameters, we would add to it the dash dash. And in this case, dash dash tile tells Midjourney to generate images that becomes a repeating tile. If we look here, you can see examples. See how it generated these koi fish, and then it just tiled them and repeated it over and over. You can use this for making textures for things like fabrics, seamless patterns, wallpapers, textures. And this specific parameter has some very powerful implications for people in e-commerce. So if you have an e-commerce website, people are making millions on Etsy selling products made with Midjourney tile patterns, just like this. That is how it works. And it's just, again, dash dash tile. If we pull Midjourney back up, there we go. So there's our monkey dancing on the beach, okay? But let's do a prompt that we could actually use. So we're gonna go /imagine, and our prompt is gonna be, let's say, fish swimming in outer space. And I'm gonna do dash dash tile, just like that. So now it's sending that through, and we'll see what it comes up with. Besides tile, there are a lot of other ones we're going to be diving into. This is just the very first one. And we'll see what kind of stuff it comes up with. Where's our fish swimming in outer space? It's always fun watching to see what you're going to get. So I'm going to upscale the bottom one. Actually, they look kind of like they fit together, but there are 4 different ones. The next one is the AR parameter, which is also known as aspect ratio. If you don't know what aspect ratio is, that's like how long versus how tall an image is. It's just the ratio of how long an image is versus how tall it is. In this case, it tells Midjourney what shape you want the image to be in. So for example, if you want to make an image fit on a mobile screen, you'd give it the parameter of a -AR 9:16. So that means it's 9 wide, 16 tall is the ratio, 9 to 16 in height. Or do it the other way, you could do 16:9, and that's widescreen. So here, there's a complete deep dive on this, and here's aspect ratio. And you can use either --AR or --aspect. And here's some examples of what those look like. And that's how it works. 16-9 is the common one for widescreen. And you'll see for most applications, you'll often see this working. That's like a widescreen landscape style image. Let's do an example of that. So normally Midjourney makes square images like you can see up here, right? So see that all these images they tend to be square. So now if let's do the same thing. Let's do monkeys. Monkeys dancing on the beach. So we'll go --AR. And there we go. Now, do you notice already, even though the images haven't finished, do you notice how they're like widescreen and they're not square like this one? So up here, you can see these are clearly square, right? But here we have our landscape style image. It'll be fun to see how this comes out. So let's let the monkeys keep dancing, and we'll see it here in just a moment. Oh, wow, these monkeys have shirts. Okay, so I like that one. We're gonna upscale number 4. And you'll see now it's gonna create a widescreen set of monkeys dancing on the beach. I like that this one has a shirt and this one back here has a dress on. That's pretty funny. It's very interesting to me to see what Midjourney imagines when it does this. And like you can see, some of these just came up with, regular old monkeys. But that set, they're wearing clothes. So that's pretty cool. Next up, we're going to be talking about stylize. So it's --S is the parameter. Now, ordinarily, Midjourney likes to stylize our images or produce images where they have a little bit of artistic flair, meaning it wants to give it its own kind of creative input. And if you're familiar with Midjourney, if you get used to it, you can almost recognize a Midjourney image because stock, it's using Midjourney style. So if you want to give your own creative input on the style and make things that are slightly different from what it might do in a standard prompt, you can use something more stylistic or more artistic. It's again --S. And with this, you get to control how much Midjourney does this. Now you put a number next to it. So stylize, you would go --S, and then you would put a number, and that's going to range from 0 to 1,000. So if you do a 0, Midjourney is going to follow your prompt almost exactly, and it's not going to get creative. Now, a good example is the monkeys with the shirts on that we just saw, right? Midjourney did that. It was creative, and it put the shirts on the monkeys, even though I didn't ask for it. So if I did --S0, it would tell Midjourney to just follow my instructions exactly and don't get too creative. And if you dial it up to 1,000, then Midjourney is going to get more artistic and get more creative about what it sticks in the image, how it colors it, how it styles it. It's pretty darn cool. So let's take a quick look. Again, --S is how you use it. Lower stylized values produce images that closely match the prompt, but are less artistic. High stylization create images that are very artistic, but less connected to the prompt. And so you can play around with this. And by default, if you don't specify this value, you can see right here, its default value is 100. So if you wanted to double it, you would go to 200, or obviously you could take it down to 0. And you can see here's some examples of the stylizing. So in this prompt example, they asked for a colorful risograph of a fig. So I guess that's the style of image here. And you can see this actually just looks more realistic. And then as the stylizing goes up, it gets more and more creative. The more you dial up the stylizing, the more creative it gets. So what would be really interesting is let's try this prompt on our dancing monkey. So we see here what we did before, right? So we're going to take the same exact prompt. We're going to say monkeys dancing on the beach, aspect ratio 16:9. So we're going to go /imagine, put our prompt in there, but we're going to add another one now. So --S, and let's set the value to, I don't know, let's do 500. I think that's kind of high, but let's see what it does. So we're going to let Midjourney get really creative with the monkeys dancing on the beach, and we'll see what it comes up with. And here we go. And the monkeys look a little weird. These almost look like pandas or something. So almost like little monkey monks. So here, we'll upscale number 3. I just want to see what those look like. And I don't know what's hanging around the monkey's necks here. Next up is the style parameter, which is actually completely different than the stylized parameter. But dash style does something totally different than that parameter. This one tells Midjourney what sort of artistic style or what kind of aesthetic style you might want it to use. So right now, the only style that is available with this prompt in Midjourney is raw. And actually that makes Midjourney more realistic. So this actually is a style where if you use dash style raw, it takes away a lot of the sort of special styling that comes built into Midjourney, and it makes it more realistic. You can do things like making a low stylized. You can make that value really low, combine that with a style raw that actually tends to make really realistic images. And here are some examples. See how these look more like a painting or more like an artistic rendering? These look more like a photograph. You notice that? And that's with the dash style raw. And here are some other examples. These look just slightly a little more cartoonish than when you put the raw parameter here. And you know what? We can take our monkeys and see what would it do with this parameter. Let's take our monkeys. We'll take the same exact prompt, style raw, and let's actually take this down, way down to 0. So what we're telling it now is to make super realistic looking monkeys dancing on the beach. And let's see what it comes up with. I'll come back to that rather than waiting for it. But let's move on to the next one. The next one is called chaos. Okay, the chaos value, it ranges from 0 to 100. So this is dash C. And the chaos value controls like the diversity of images that it's going to produce. So high chaos values make more unusual and unexpected results. So low chaos values is going to give you something kind of like what you would expect. High chaos value makes weirder, more creative, more wild results. And you know how Midjourney spits out the 4 examples? So you might see 4 wildly different ones in each example, as opposed to them being fairly similar most of the time. So chaos parameter influences how varied the initial image grids are. Chaos will produce more unusual and unexpected results. And so here are examples. The chaos default is at 0. If you don't specify it, it's at 0, and then you can go up from there. So this is without a chaos value at all. Here's where it starts to crank it up. Instead of 0, it's at 10. And here is up to 25. You see how these are all relatively similar? And you notice how they're getting different? And here are high chaos values. And you can see wildly different background colors, different style choices. Like it's quite a bit different with each one. And here you can see very high chaos values. And what this is doing, again, is just making a lot more variation, a lot more sort of unexpected results in what it's going to come up with. I think Midjourney is finished, so we'll take a look here. I mean, you can tell the difference. They do, except for this one. This one is, I don't know where the brightly colored gym clothes are coming from. But notice how these do look a little more photographic, so to speak. I'm going to upscale number 3. Next, this parameter is really powerful because I often create an image in Midjourney and it does stuff that's weird. Like, you know, if it's giving you monkeys that have, you know, fluorescent colored gym clothes when you don't want them to, you want to figure out how to get rid of stuff. If you want Midjourney to not put stuff in the picture that it keeps putting in there, you use the no parameter, and that is dash no, N-O. So no parameter tells the Midjourney bot what not to include. So here's an example of a painting, and then it tells it to put no fruit. And then all of a sudden, oh, you can see here, there's some fruit on this one, but these other ones don't have fruit. So that's the other thing I want to point out about the no parameter is that it's not 100%. It won't always do that. And you can see here, giving an example of some people will put don't in their actual prompt. The no parameter works better. Now, did you know that Midjourney will actually let you upload your own images? As part of your prompt, you can upload your own image and say, I want you to make it look like this image. And I've used this before. I showed in previous training about how I'll do face swaps where I put my face in different pictures and different scenarios and swap it out. And I'll often use this as a way of making it much more accurate, where I'll upload a picture of myself as part of the prompt. And then I use the face swapper plugin, but you can see that on earlier training in the channel. We've covered how to do that. But I want to dive in here because when you upload your image and you tell Midjourney that you want it to start with the image that you're uploading as inspiration, it actually lets you control how closely you want it to match the image you uploaded. So this parameter is called image weight. And in Midjourney, it's --IW. And this tells Midjourney on how much emphasis, how much weight to give the image that you're uploading into Midjourney. So if you uploaded an image of your face, you can tell Midjourney how important that is. How closely do you want the output to look like your face? To include this, the first thing you have to do is actually upload an image, right? You have to upload your own image into the chat. And then once you've done that, you make a prompt, and we're going to use the --IW. And this value ranges from 0 to 2. And by default, it's set at 1. So if you want it to have more creativity and not use your image a lot, then you can have a lower number. If you want it to really stick with your image, you give it a higher number. Now, an image weight of 2, well, actually is going to produce something that almost copies the photo that you provided. So the closer you get to 2, the more exact the output is going to be. Oh, one of the things that you can do, by the way, if let's say that you have a starter image you could get from a stock image library. I like to use Dreamtime, but there's a lot of stock image libraries. If you want something that's kind of similar to this, but you want to change it up and have them doing this on the wing of an airplane, well, you can upload this image and then use it in the way I'm about to show you. Okay, so let's pull up Midjourney. And to do this, we have to use an image as a prompt. And to do that, we have to upload the image. So here we just click the plus. We're going to upload a file. Here's a picture of me on a boat. Now, to create a prompt that uses your image, you got to do something funny. So we're going to click on our image, and we're going to right click it and say copy link. So now we come in here and we say imagine. We actually paste the URL like that, just like that. And then now we can say a cowboy riding a horse. So if we do it that way, we can now use this prompt --IW to say how important it is to stick with my image. 1 is the default value. Let's go with 0.5. And now it's going to make a cowboy riding a horse chased by the sheriff, and it's going to lessen how much it uses my image. And then we'll do another example of it. Let's do another one. So we'll do an imagine prompt. We're going to put that in there. And here, let's take the same exact prompt here. Give the image I provided a higher weight and see what it comes up with. So here's the first one. You got various versions. Some of these look like me, some of them don't. But there's the cowboy being chased by the sheriff. One of the things that you'll notice here is it's putting water in the background. You see that? You see how I'm splashing through water, running away from the sheriff? Somehow the streets of this town right here are flooded with water. That's an example of when you might want to use this. See, so look at this. So now I told it to use my source image as more inspiration, right? And so we went from having just a little bit of water on the ground to now check this out. So you can see here, it's trying to turn me into a cowboy sitting on the boat, and it put a horse standing on the deck. Here, I'm sitting on a horse on the deck of the boat, and here's me and the horse. Obviously, we wouldn't use any of those images, but that's an example, an illustration of what the image weight command does. So next up is the quality parameter. This is --Q, and this influences the quality of the photo. The higher the Q value, the more time it takes to produce. It actually will take longer. Midjourney will work on it longer, but it's going to produce better quality images. Okay. And now the most weird parameter, well, it makes things weird. So that's an actual parameter. It's weird. --W. Now, this actually introduces unconventional and strange aesthetics with quirky, kind of offbeat, unexpected qualities. And you can generate really unique or unexpected outcomes And Midjourney says that this is an experimental parameter, means that the weird function actually is going to be really weird, and you may see it changing over time. Weird accepts values from 0 to 3,000. The higher the value, the weirder it gets. Let's actually play with this one. This one's a little bit fun. Let's go back to our monkeys dancing on the beach. I'm going to go with aspect ratio there. I'm going to go /imagine. Let's give it a high weird value of 2,000. I don't know what that's going to do, but let's find out. So it's waiting to start, and we're going to see what kind of weird monkey shenanigans that it does. I'm very curious what it comes up with. I mean, monkeys dancing on the beach is already weird all by itself. Okay, here we go. That is weird. These ones are wearing triangle hats. Here's monkeys doing a conga, but the monkeys actually look humanoid. They almost look like Planet of the Apes monkeys. Here are 2 wrestling monkeys. Oh wow, it did these in like claymation style, all sitting on the beach in a sunset, sitting at tables. Okay, so do you see how weird that is? So lives right up to its name. So that's the weird parameter, and it's pretty offbeat, pretty weird. So I don't know how often I'm going to use it, but it's kind of fun to play with. Next up, it's a tip. It's not a parameter, but it's very helpful. So Midjourney likes to center your subject. I don't know if you've noticed, when you ask it to like make something, it tries very often to stick that thing right in the center. And that's not always artistically how you want it. Like you might want an action shot where it's like slightly off center. Your person's off shifted to the right, to the left, and maybe down a little bit, and you want to have control over the composition. Well, you can. To fix this, you can actually tweak your prompt just a little bit. So you can actually do a negative prompt. Remember the negative prompt, -- no, and then you type symmetry. So you want no symmetry. And you get some surprising results. It'll shift your subject off screen. It makes it less symmetrical all the way around. And that's just, again, -- no, and then the word symmetry. Well, here, we can try this right now. Let's try. We'll do a combination of both. So -- no, and it's symmetry. And then the other thing we can do in our prompt itself is call for a Dutch angle. And so this is like when the camera is sort of twisted. So if you are familiar with photography in a Dutch angle, you know, it's like, have you ever seen where it looks like they've kind of twisted the camera a little bit? So instead of the ground being parallel, it's sort of off kilter a bit. That's a Dutch angle. So let's give this a shot and see what we get. And it is amazing how much control that Midjourney gives you over the creative process. It's quite amazing. It's like you've got a graphic designer, an artist, and a photographer all standing there waiting for you to direct them on how you want your image to come out. And this is something that didn't exist not that long ago. This is all new technology, which it really makes me wonder what's around the corner. This time next year, what kind of crazy stuff am I going to be showing you? We're just really at the early stages of this kind of technology. So let's take a look at what we got. You can see here it moved the subjects a little bit off center. It did make a difference, but there you go. So it's no symmetry and Dutch angle. That's what you use to get those kinds of results. So that does it for Midjourney, our advanced prompt training. Again, if you want our basic training that we've done already, you can catch that on our channel, which, by the way, if you haven't yet, make sure you have subscribed. Anybody here who has not yet subscribed, you'll see a subscribe link somewhere down below the video. Click it, subscribe to the channel. We do these shows every week live, and we're releasing content all throughout the week.